Alright. What up guys, it's Adrian from acanatomy.com. Back again with another exciting tutorial. Very hard to find online. It's I spent like a couple of months just to see like a gap where which like tutorial is missing, where so you hardly get like these kind of tutorials. It's very hard to find like a canine ecorche tutorial from A to Z, if I may say. So I thought I'll be kind and share my screen while we dissect this. So essentially we're going to be making a ecorche. As you can see, I've already started with blocking out very low raise, because it's very important just to begin with your low base mesh. So it's entirely up to you guys whether you start on Z spheres, a base mesh, or sphere. Probably Dynamesh, or work on Sculptris Pro. Like in this encounter, I just chose to just work with regular subdivisions. I'm not gonna be using any Dynamesh and so forth, which is kind of hard, and it's kind of tedious, so it takes time. But then I thought I like try something new, just figure out how we might get this working on. As you can see, I'm blocking out those a few landmarks like the sartorius over there, or vastus lateralis. Just blocking that out. And I'm using clay build-up if you guys are interested. I'm using clay build-up just to come in there, putting down out and just switching between Z add and Z sub. Pretty much the same technique as the previous tutorials. So I'm planning to post these like regularly. Probably we'll do like a horse dissection, I don't know. If I find time, then we can probably tackle that. So you guys can choose like any breed. I chose specifically a pitbull because it was kind of easy for me, because a cousin of mine has it, so I've got like tons of reference, and I also get to see it live, and it's kind of easy. So if you guys like have your own dog or anything, or your friend's dog, I don't know, just just take a couple of pictures and just spend time with the dog. Also just see it in motion, probably take videos, and just spend time with this specific breed you chose. Sorry. And first things first, before you even start sculpting, I spent a lot of time with dissection videos, because basically you're taking the dog, your reference dog, but then like, I know like it sounds harsh, but then it has like peeling off the skin so we can see the muscles. So obviously we can't do it in our dog, so then we like watch dissections, because the muscle groups are pretty much the same. So there's tons of resources online with dissections of animals, canines, there's a lot. I was also surprised, so you will never struggle with finding those. So my main focus at this stage is just finding the shape. I'm not really like fussy about the details, and like now at this stage, because I haven't even subdivided yet. I think we in subdivision level 1, so it's before you even subdivide even further, just work on your base mesh, just give it some love, if I may say. So I use like move topological a lot, just because it's kind of easy for me to tweak those major forms in my house content. So I preferably use that. So I assign like hotkeys. So I'm switching between clay build-up. This is clay build-up now. I'm just digging in, coming in, building up forms, looking at my reference. Trying to nail likeness. So this it's like a difference in like, it's like doing likeness but then an ecorche. So it helps you like practice both. So practicing like likeness and practicing your anatomy. So it's both of both. So then I prefer this way. It trains you a lot, and I advise you guys to also try this if you find time. Just if you like interested in the anatomy, just get those reference, study those dissections, and you can study those books also. But it's kind of hard to understand the muscle groups, so I prefer like spending more time with the dissections and seeing like the dog like moving, the dog in motion. So the dog I chose, it's kind of muscular. I'll also share the pictures you guys will see, specifically because by that I can be able to emphasize those muscle groups without any problem. So for my study, it's an advantage for me. So you can choose like any breed, guys. It's entirely up to you. So yeah, once you have that, I'm all over the place, just trying to figure out where we're gonna have, where are the shapes lying, where are those muscles. So I've got my reference on the side. Probably like in the last tutorial, I'm going to be showing you guys my reference that I was using, and then pretty much going to be easy for you guys. I have like a couple of pictures of this breed, from top left, right, so forth, because it was very easy for me to get like all these pictures, because it's in the yard. Pretty much easier. I think I must get my own dog now. Stop like asking my friends or family members for their dogs and stuff. But then if you like interested in studying animals, it's not that hard because there are tons of resources. There's many resources out there you guys can study from. Building up our vastus. As you can see, I'm focusing on those landmarks, the rib cage, the abdominal muscles, those landmarks that are pretty much visible. Our vertebral column there at the back. There's not like any detail at this stage. Just figure out those shapes, because there's not like much polygons there to work with. So just get your shapes in place, and don't like pull your mesh too high, because unless you using Dynamesh, because I'm not using Dynamesh, so I'm taking it very, very soft. Those soft touches. And what's very exciting also is that I'm using I'm not like using the brick butter ZBrush, the normal ZBrush. I'm using ZBrush Core 2021. It's so if you out there can't afford ZBrush, I made this tutorial. I believe I also promised that I'll be doing like a tutorial also in ZBrush Core. I think I've also done tutorials in ZBrush Core. If you guys can check my channel, or like the male and female the ecorches were done in ZBrush Core, I believe 2020. Now this was done in ZBrush Core 2021. So if you can't afford ZBrush, don't worry. It's this one. It's around $9.95. Pretty much like $10. You can grab a copy. So it's very cheap. So I prefer like to have like both these licenses. Then if I'm like working on something like serious, and then I use ZBrush, because yeah, there's a couple of features missing. So since I love to working on our triceps, like on the canine, the triceps has like 4 heads. So it's very important to know that. As you can see, I'm trying to figure out the attachment and so forth. I'm all over the place, and working on there in the scapular deltoid. Switching to move topological brushes to move my shapes very easy. So for this one, we're gonna stick to symmetry. I believe. I don't know, cause I've let's see, probably yeah, probably like 90% of this will be symmetrical. But then after we've got like our shapes, after we've got like all our muscles, not like all, but then all our superficial muscles, and after we have that, then I'll turn off symmetry. So I was planning to remove like the trapezius, the biceps femoris, and brachiocephalicus on the other side. So and the latissimus dorsi. So those will be on one side. So that will be like at the end. On our last tutorial, we'll be doing that, and we'll be checking our proportions, checking our reference, and refining our likeness, and just seeing. how close were we? As you guys know, it's like as I said like previously, it's like both. So it's all about studying the anatomy, knowing what's underneath, what's going on underneath. So before studying muscles, before studying any muscle dissections videos, sorry, I forgot to state that at first. It's you need to study the skeleton, please. It's one of the things we neglect. We hate like starting the skeleton. It's like we don't take it seriously, and it's like impossible to sculpt properly, because you don't know where your muscles are inserting, you don't know your joints, you don't know what's going on underneath. So your ecorche will be, I don't know, I'm looking for a word, but then it will be terrible. I don't know. So just study the skeleton, spend time with the skeleton. It's trust me guys, you won't regret that. You won't regret that. So I'm also using Damian standard. As you can see here, I can't capture like much detail. It's just for me to get those flexors and carpies and extensor digitorums and that. I'm using snake hook. Luckily we have it in ZBrush Core, so just to bring out those phalanges, our nails, or the dog. I don't know if we call them nails, but phalanges. So in ZBrush Core, they were very smart about this, because like all the brushes that are there, I think it's the brushes you need. Like you can finish like the entire sculpt with those brushes, and you won't have any problems. It's I hardly like need like any brush, hardly, but it depends on what you're working on. Like in this case, we are working on ecorches and base meshes and so forth. So this is all we need. It's like it's right on point. And they've also added like zero mesh now, so it's quite cool. So you can dynamesh, and then once you have use zero mesh. Obviously there's not like much features there, but in just basic zero mesh. As you can see, my mesh was overlapping there, just isolating with control. I think control shift drag, isolating over there, just cleaning that up. It was a bit messy. Like at this stage, your piece doesn't make any sense. It's like when you open and close it, you like not that motivated. Just hang in there. Just press hard. I believe for this for this thingy, it's gonna take me quite long, because I'm working on the side, and I don't have much time to finish this up. But then if you guys are like not doing anything, I believe like in a week's time, in a week's time you can finish your ecorche. Just give it some time and perseverance, hard work, and just press hard. For me, it's kind of hard, so yeah, I'm quite busy. So I just turned on my perspective. I believe I forgot. I don't know. So in ZBrush, it's kind of hard to make your perspective, but then you can pretty much get something close to your reference. So like looking at your reference pictures, try to look for your focal length and find like which find like something closer to it, and you might be lucky and nail it. I don't know, but in this case I think I chose 50 for the specific piece. But it worked, so it's not a train smash. I'm using a Damien standard, so if I won't be lying, there's like the brushes you see me switching, yeah, it's clay buildup, which I use the most, like 80% of the time, and then Damien standard, and standard brush. I believe those three were brushes I use the most, nothing fancy. And move topological. So working on the phalanges, just building those shapes, just moving around with move topological. So, and you also see me like switching between subdivisions with Shift D to what you call it, unsubdivide, or switch to the lower subdivision level, and then D to switch to a higher subdivision level. Control or Command D is to subdivide even more. So I haven't subdivided yet, like we're still in low res. I think I only have one subdivision. Yeah, there's only one subdivision. Which is not a lot. It's cause I'm still like in the beginning stages. It's still figuring out, trying to find this anything, but taking it easy. So I also advise you guys to stay as low res as possible, until you have all your details in place. But other than that, just stay as low res as possible, please, until you have your shapes in place. Grab some water. Trying to find my shapes, trying to see like how everything works. I think I chose like the hard way to use regular subdivisions. I don't know, cause with Dynamesh I sculpt like with freedom, without fearing the topology, without thinking about any topology issues. But over here I'm like considering if I move this too far, if I dig too deep, and I might ruin my topology. And it's very important to look at your model in all angles. Look at the silhouette. Silhouette has to work. It has to work. It's one of the things that will help sell your piece. Trying to build those ears. As you can see, I'm not like going any far with this because there's like not enough polygons, so those primary shapes are very important. Like previously, when I first started, I used to spend like so much time, like little time in primary forms and secondary forms, and I spent like a lot of time with fine details. And when I look at my sculpts, they were like, okay, those details are there, but then the shapes are not there, and I wasn't very happy. But then back then I didn't know like what was missing, like what was wrong with my piece. It's so then along the way I finally like realized those forms are very important. Those forms. So I spent like hours just to fight those forms, just to get them. So I'm not really concerned about fine details as yet. So we like when all those high resolution textures came out, like texture in XYZ, we were very excited just to jump in with our with our basic sculpt, just to plug those maps in our sculpts. And but then at the end of the day, we didn't learn nothing, we didn't achieve anything, and our pieces are just, I don't know, terrible. They're just terrible. So yeah, I was thinking of like sculpting the eye in a single mesh, but I see I'll just probably use a sphere just for accuracy. Because this doesn't look correct. But you guys can do it this way if you want to, but I prefer like using a sphere. So let me just smooth that out. Okay, boot up. One of my favorite brushes also. One of them. And using Damian standard just to figure out those eyes. Yes. Eyes are very hard to sculpt. Those eye bags, just give it some time because it's very hard to sculpt. So you can do it this way, or you can just add a sphere. For the sake of the tutorial, I'm just gonna add a sphere. So just removing that, just digging that up, and then I think that's better. I paint a sphere, something basic. Which I know is pretty much correct. As you can see, like moving your mesh around, it's quite easy because we still in low raise, so we're not like battling to make those tweaks. It's pretty much very easy. Fantastic. Move topological brush, just fixing those eye bags. Remember to save like regularly, and you can change like your quick save for maybe like 5 minutes, depends how you tend to forget. I forget a lot, so mine I think is on 10 minutes or so, but I normally like save it myself also. Because ZBrush can crash. It has crashed a lot on me, and I never learn. So it's very important to save regularly. As you can see, I'm spending more time like on the ears, cause I'm looking at my reference. Just trying to nail that likeness. Which is very important also. So for this ecorche, we'll be focusing mainly on superficial muscles and a few deep muscles, like the serratus, and if we, yeah, I think the serratus, we will be focusing on that, and probably the semi-membranosus and semi-tendinosus, so we'll be also showing that also. Painting the sphere, that's very huge. Just getting that down, just moving into place. Just making it into place. So once I have it into place, I can just move my eye bags also. Just getting that up a bit. And then, so if you out-click on a mesh, you can switch between meshes. That's what I'm doing there. And I'm just using my move topological to move that into place, checking like in every angle. It's very important. Obviously, I'm also looking at my reference, how the eye bags are laying out. So as I said again, like it's at this stage it's pretty much hard to be motivated with your sculpt. It's like looking at it, it's like, oh, there's a lot of work to be done. But then it's a matter of fact, just being patient and not rushing any step. So for the stage, I believe I spent like 3 hours, I think 2 hours or so, just trying to figure out this. Just that I might be happy with the forms, because it's very important. Like, though we like focusing on muscles and bones, or the ecorche, it's very important that it must look like a dog. At the end of the day, it must look like a dog, because we actually sculpting a dog without skin and fascia. So yeah. Just moving that into place, it's using move topological. I added one subdivision. Of course, we're going to the second stage now with the details. Like our secondary forms. Just isolating the head, it's easy for me to work and to move around. So I wouldn't like say this tutorial is for completely beginners. I'm not sure if it's helpful for beginners, but it's cause I'm not like teaching about the interface, about how everything functions in ZBrush. There's tons of tutorials about that. Yeah, it talk about sculpting forms. It talk about the anatomy. Yeah. So just search around. If you're a new beginner, completely new beginner, just search around for ZBrush beginner tutorials. You'll find a lot. I must say there's a lot of tutorials for beginners out there. So once you all set, and it won't like take you that long, probably like 2 days just to get used to the interface. But like again, it depends like how much time you invest. If you invest like 30 minutes and trying to do this, then it's obviously gonna take you long. But then if you spend like hours trying to fight this, cause like learning a program, it's once you open it and you navigate in the interface, then you're learning. It's so you're gonna like face many problems. You need to troubleshoot. Some instances you wouldn't be able to find any tutorials. like in this case, like to find like a dog ecorche tutorial from A to Z. I haven't found it. Probably and there's a free tutorial. I haven't found it yet. So there are some tutorials that no one is working on. So I just chose. Let me just share my screen while I dissect this. Again, I'm also using clay buildup, working on my nose. So my main focus is to make sure that my nose is the same as my reference, same as my dog, obviously. So we're not like neglecting the fact that we're still doing likeness over here. We still trying to make sure that it's the same, pretty much the same. Just trying to get as close as possible. Just the skin is peeled off. And like if you do like these exercises, probably like if you do like let me see, like 2 of them, trust me, you will like know like most of the forms, the anatomy. It's gonna be easy for you to sculpt a dog. Like you wouldn't like have to face that fear, that those issues that where do I start, um where does this go to, what's the shape of this, how is this working. So if you can sculpt like one static pose and then a serious pose, those two can teach you a lot. So it's way more better than turning pages. That cannot be compared. It's way more better. So I really recommend this way to, if you want to study the anatomy, whether you want to be like a creature artist or a character artist. This is your best bet. This is the way to do it like quickly. But if you want to do it the hard way, like turning pages, go ahead. That's fine. So these are for people who are like interested in being not like a pro, but then like in knowing your way around when like sculpting any creature, when like sculpting any animal or any human. As I normally say, like anatomy is a foundation for all characters, for all creatures. If the bones are not there, if there's no muscles underneath, the structures, the proportions, if that's wrong, I don't care how much detail you've got there, even if it's 2 billion polygon mesh. If that's not there, there's nothing there. So it's I can't stop fussing about this. But then it's all about you guys spending more time in this, and I'm also trying to give all myself to this. Which is very helpful. And as you can see, I don't have the trapezius in place. So the trapezius also is divided into 2. There's upper trapezius and lower trapezius. So we're gonna have it on the other side. So like one side will be all superficial and the other side will remove a few muscles. I think that's a nice way to study also. And if you guys can like sculpt this without symmetry, that will speed up your learning curve. But yeah, for the sake of this tutorial, it'll probably like take 8 hours of recording this, so I just use symmetry. But if you guys can spend like, let's say like you're working on one limb without symmetry, spend time there and then switch to the other one, it'll speed up your learning curve. It's very productive, trust me. So checking in every angle. I don't think I can stop like it's using this clay buildup. It just works for me. As you can see, because I'm not using like Dynamish, my topology it's not that good at the back there. But we can leave with it. I'll leave that for now. Manubrium, our pectoralis. So there's pectoralis major and pectoralis minor. A pectoral muscle. And we will also be removing the brachiocephalicus on the other side. As you can see, I still have it over here, but then I'm still gonna remove it. So we're still at the beginning stages over here. It takes time, but then you won't regret this. It's like in your career, it's gonna help you a lot. So we have our sartorius that has 2 heads. I'm separating that from sartorius. And our semimembranosus, semitendinosus, and the abductor muscles. So I'm making space for them. Like at the later stage, we're gonna come back and detail that. This is just when we trying to figure out. As you can see, I'm going on the gastrocnemius. Oh, huge back muscle, so the back. Masseter. our masseter, our big muscle, our jaw muscle. I'm just doing like a couple of sketches around it. So my workflow, it's pretty much the same than those previous tutorials. I normally do sketches, like sketch it first, just draw those lines, until we're happy with the lines, then we repeat out the forms around those lines. That's pretty much my technique. So in the previous tutorials, we were using Dynamesh, which is a easier way. So you guys can also watch that if you wanna sculpt with Dynamesh. I have a few tutorials about that, and I have like an old tutorial where we were using only HD geometry. So if you want to know more about HD geometry, also you can go there also. Our pictorial. Like in my point of view, this is one of the hardest stages. This is one of the hardest ones. So once you succeed in this, the shapes and the forms, once you done with that, it's completely going to be very easy going forward. So this is more stressful than anything, and it requires more time. Back to our vastus. Our vastus and our gluteal muscles. Our ribcage, they just trying to figure out where it ends. Abdominal section. And there's our iliac bone. So one of the shapes I like to see, like that back section, it's very important also. It like sells your piece even more. So if you never study the skeleton, you have that thing wrong, facing wrong, pointing wrong. So our gluteal muscles attach over there. Our medial gluteal muscle. So you see I'm fixing the sartorius again. And our vastus, latissimus. Just digging that in. Sorry. So I'm removing the brachiocephalic, because we are going to be showing the deeper muscles over there. Moving from from both sides for now, but once we're done with using symmetry, I'm gonna edit on the other side. Here's our condyle. I'm sure like right now it's not like making any sense, but trust me, if you spend time just fighting this, it will make sense. Oh, it's scapula. So we have the supraspinatus also at the top. Teres major. Serratus. So this was like divided into parts, but I compiled like everything into one tutorial. Just turning on my tablet. As you saw, I'm using a basic tablet. It's a Huion tablet. It's not like a Cintiq. So you guys can get like way far with just a basic tablet. And if you don't have any money, like a lot of money, just save up for the basic one. Even like Wacom has that bamboo. I haven't used it myself, but then also Wacom have like good tablets also, and quite cheap ones. And I think Huion had the first range. I think it's around $20. I'm not sure. It's been long since I checked those websites, but then I think it's called a Huion 420. Yeah, it's a 420. So if you're a beginner or a pro, but then I don't know, you don't have a lot of money, or you can't afford a fancy tablet or a Cintiq, these tablets also work. I believe the pen pressure sensitivity it's around 2000. That's the starter. Obviously you can't like assign any shortcuts and stuff, but then that's not that important. You can just use your keyboard. So that's that. So I subdivided even more, because now we building up that I was losing my geometry. abdominis, obliques, near the gluteus medius, gluteus maximus, and separating there's our trochanter there, the greater trochanter, so they're both over there. Here's our vastus lateralis, our vastus muscle. I'm building that up very heavy for now. So I thought, like, cause I had time, let me just record tutorials. Cause I doubt I'm gonna be having any time to record any tutorials anymore. Probably when I'm very, very free. I don't know, like probably like short tutorials, like 30 minutes or so. Cause like these take long. It takes like hours. So I hope you guys grab something out of this, and it's helpful. Because there are tons of tutorials, but then regarding this specific topic, this animal anatomy, it's very hard to find. So if you find your way like sculpting a dog, you will not have any problem sculpting any other animal like equine or bovine. No matter like which one you start with, like if you start with a canine, you won't have any problems going forward, because the muscle groups are pretty much the same here and there, but then looking at your reference, you'll figure it out. I believe like once you have like all your ecorches, they don't have to be high res details. Just finish something like with all the muscle groups, with all that, with all the forms. Just finish that, and then you at a good stage. Find the iliac crest there. And again, like if you are having troubles in using 2D reference, I advise you guys to visit our website. These models will be available for sale at a very cheap price. You guys can download them, and then just have them on the side, and it's gonna be very easy for you guys to study this. So if you started with human anatomy crochet we posted long ago, you're not gonna have any problems once you start with the animal. So you won't have any trouble here and there, but then you'll see that the muscles are pretty much similar. Just that the animal is not standing and we are standing, so one of the major points. But here again, you can purchase this for sale in our store, link in the description, or just visit www.asanatomy.com. Okay, back to the tutorial. I tend to lose myself. I even forget that I was recording. But then you guys see my technique. I first drew those lines, and then around those lines I built up forms. And I smooth a bit, but then I normally use like this up to push back the forms if I pull them very hard. Fixing my muscle over there. Our triceps. Now deltoids. And remember, your triceps has 4 heads. So you guys, if you guys have any questions or any request or any advice or comments, just post your comments and help us out, and we can assist each other where we can. Or any request, that's just visit asanatomy.com and then contact us there. So this question like always pops up, like, why specialize in anatomy only? Why like focus in the anatomy? Like, why why is that so important? I was like, it's one of the things that's so tedious to study. It's neglected. It's what I normally like always say. It's would you want to be a creature or a character artist? you can't avoid anatomy. And if you're looking for a job or anything or so forth in the VFX or any studio as a character or future artist, this is one of the requirements. And without this, I doubt you will even be getting any job. I doubt you can be hired because you it's like, you don't have the fundamentals. Even if you're a pro, like in any sculpting medium like ZBrush or Maya, I don't know, or Mudbox, if you're pro in that but then you don't know the anatomy, how can you sculpt anything? It's like, how can the company trust you to produce realistic assets? Because like realism doesn't start with skin textures or high resolution textures. It starts with the forms, it starts with the proportions, the anatomy, the structure. It all begins there. So yeah. This is the second part. So I combine these. I'm still not happy with the proportions with our back legs over there. So we still gonna fix those at the very end. And we're still gonna give it time. So at the end of this series, we just gonna check our proportions, because it's very important that you get your measurements correct, your proportions correct. So we at this stage I'm all about like sculpting, like getting those muscles in there. That's my main focus right now. See, I'm holding them out with my clay Buddha brush. And using Damien Standard. So where I see like my topology is getting worse and worse, I try to smooth a bit and then punch back those details again very softly. And when you doing this, like when you're building up your forms, keep in mind the flow of the muscles, like the muscle striations, so you can move your brush towards those, just keeping that in mind. So like at the very end, you won't have to like fight. Everything will just be in place. Using Damien Standard again. As you can see, I'm still sketching. So it's very important now to know your insertions and your origin. So I know that at the iliac it's around there. So I haven't built like any form. still sketch. So like once I'm happy with my sketch, and then I'll go around those lines and building that up with my clear build up brush. As you can see, I'm going around those lines, holding down Alt where I exaggerated. For this piece, we won't be going with like high details or anything, because it's for the sake of the tutorial. Probably like 2 million polygons will be fine if we're lucky. Like 2 million polygons, or yeah, maximum probably 3 million polygons, but then not above that. And everything, it's a single mesh, so my reference that my cousin's dog doesn't have a tail, probably cut off tail. But yeah, I'm just gonna leave it in there. I'm not gonna cut it off. Shame on the dog. So it's just for you, just to have it there, like our coccyx and our sacral. I'll keep it in there. I'll just leave it in there. As you guys can see, I'm exaggerating those muscles a lot. The dog, it's very buff also. It's very muscular, but then I've also exaggerated a bit. Just that all things might be visible and in place. Chromium. Now trochanter. Trochanter with the humerus. Still messy. Our main focus that everything must make sense. It must start to make sense. It just has to. So we're pushing those forms very hard, and we're gonna move topological brush. Trochanter, that's a bit too harsh. Trochanter poking out. So like the brachiocephalic will cover that. So in this case, it has been removed. So working on the rib cage. So unlike a human, like most canines have like 13 ribs. have that in mind. So, like I said, you have to study the skeleton because you end up adding those extra ribs that are not even there. Like, how will you know how much ribs to add? How will your serratus attach if your ribs are not correct? So spend time with the skeleton, please, guys. So it's still rough. I'm not like adding any detail. It's just a basic sketch, and I might have to dial that down. It's a bit too buff. I have to dial that down. Way exaggerated. So I'm still gonna smooth out some muscles because they're way exaggerated. So. You guys might like see me quiet sometimes. Sometimes trying to focus and kind of hard. Like normally when I revisit a section, I'm unhappy with that. So knowing your insertions and origin will help you a lot. Just defining our tibia bone there. So knowing like which muscles go where, you won't have any trouble. Our gastrocnemius, I'm puffing it up for now. But I can always dial it back down. So for building up forms, I use like clay printer for everything. It's quite convenient for me, so you can use like any brush of your choice. done out. Sculpting the negative, just moving that. Moving that up. Oh, vast, this is too much, but then we still want to revisit that. So those ones are one of the deeper muscles, which on the other side is it's going to be covered with our biceps femoris. So you won't be able to see like literally the semi tendinosis and membranosus. We're still going to cover that. Just checking around, just spinning around our model, just seeing where we can fix it. Fixing our pectoral muscle, then mastoideus. Like in a human, it's sternocleidomastoid, I believe, yeah. Mastoideus. And our stenohyoid. So I'm using alt and just to switch between Z add and Z sub. I hold it smooth at this stage, unless like getting like unclean topology, then I'm forced to smooth. But then besides that, I hold it smooth. So like trying by all means to show the scapula and the connection with the humerus and our bicep brachii tendon. So there's muscles lying underneath. But we like not going too much details at this stage. Triceps muscle. Sorry if I'm moving too fast around the mesh. I tend to not like stay in one place. And again, never be like too early satisfied with your piece. Just try to criticize yourself where you can and ask for feedback. But here we have like all freedom, because if you also taking this, if you also like following along, this is also like a study to you. you.